Hello everyone, Josh here with Texas Games, bringing y'all another Awaken Chaos Era, and today we're going to be talking about how global players can avoid these early game mistakes. That way you can progress and be more efficient with your resources and not have to kind of overcome a lot of obstacles. Of course, there still will be rocky roads that you have to travel across, but let's try to throw as many smooth roads in there as possible to try and get you as far as we possibly can as a free-to-play or even a casual spender when it comes to, of course, Awaken Chaos Era. Now, global will be dropping here in a few days, so some things in this video might not be as relevant anymore or might not even be as accurate. If that's the case, I will of course make an updated version later on, but for now let's take a look at some of the more common mistakes that people can make early on in the game and how to of course avoid them. Now the first thing is very simple. Do your daily quest. Do these every single day because you're going to get 50 gems out of it minimum. You're also going to get 3-star pumpkins. You know, the rewards aren't the greatest thing in the world, but they do add up. They do accumulate over the course of weeks and weeks and weeks. If you do not do those dailies, that's going to be a lot of resources left on the table. When you're playing a game like this, a gacha game, you're going to be really strapped for resources after you hit the honeymoon phase. Well, I should say when you get out of the honeymoon phase. And what the honeymoon phase is the honeymoon phase is basically when you start the game in the first week or two, you're being showered and gifted with all these different resources and rewards, summoning material, and you're just like, oh my God, I can build up everything in the world. I can build up any character I want. And of course, that's not the case because eventually those resources will start to be less and less and less until you get to the point where now you're just doing the day-to-day grind, and now you're going to have to rely mostly on events. Events are also going to be a very important part of progressing in this game. We have events right here. We get various events throughout the week. They're all time gated, unfortunately, but they give you some various things. As you see right now, we have an energy cost event going on. We need 3,000 points, which is basically 3,000 stamina that you have a few days to do, and you get these various rewards. You can see here our final reward right now is 3 advanced summoning crystals. Now, this brings me to another mistake. Do not do every one of these events. Not every one of these events are going to be beneficial to you as a free-to-play or casual spender because some of them cost more resources than you really want to offer to complete, and sometimes rewards are just not worth the actual work that you're doing. They're not worth the rewards that you're spending, or the resources you're spending rather. So pick and choose what events are best for you. Not all of them are going to be free to play friendly. Keep that in mind. It's just unfortunately the nature of the beast when it comes to a gacha game. Okay, now that brings us to another point. If we go up here to the index, you're going to go in here and you're going to see that we have all these factions, and you're probably already thinking, oh man, look at all these cool characters. I just want to build up everything. Some of these characters look so cool. Like you're going to be looking at Dark and Nicholas and be like, oh, this dude looks like a beast. I cannot wait to pull this guy and build him up. Well, unfortunately, that is not your reality. If you're not going to whale out, spend a lot of money in this game, you're not going to be playing this game as a hero collector. You're going to have to focus more on the actual core components of whatever teams that you currently have that you do summon for, that you actually have that you actually have awakens for, which is this game's way of saying dupes. If you look in here in my box, for example. So a lot of you can see right off the bat, a lot of my 6-star characters, and I'm a casual spender. I don't spend very much money. And you can see here that a majority of my characters that I have built up to 6-star are not legendaries. So legendaries are not going to be something that you're going to just jump right into. They're not going to be something that you're going to really even focus on as a free-to-play or a casual. You can if you want, but keep in mind, there are early and mid-game risk involved in doing so. One of those is it's very hard right now to get legendary dupes. If they make it more, available to free-to-plays and casuals in the future, especially after global, that would be great. But as of right now, there really isn't no way to farm up dupes of legendaries outside of just pulling them in the banner and hope for the best. And that, of course, with 1% drop rate is not going to be ideal going forward, and it's not going to be sustainable for a long time either because, as I said, you are going to be playing as a free-to-play. Your resources are going to be the most important thing in this game, and you want to make sure that you're utilizing them in the best way possible. So you can see here, even me playing for a while, I'm still focusing more on the elites and the epics. Now, Now, do keep in mind, though, I'm a YouTuber, so some of these elites and epics are not very good, and I built them up for testing so I could showcase you guys and gals for content, which hopefully will help you all decide on what units that you want to build up personally. So, I just wanted to kind of throw that out there, that we're not really focusing much on legendaries unless you're willing out in this game. Now, that could change in the future. Again, if they do make any significant changes or anything like that, I can update this video at any point later on. But as of right now, legendaries are not the way to go, and you want to, of course, focus on your core teams. Now, what is the best core team right now as a free-to-play starting this game? Well, I made a video about that in depth, in great detail a few days ago, and it's about the true damage team. We're going to briefly go over some of the units that are in the true damage team really quick, just so you guys and gals can see. One of those units is, one of those units is right here, Awaken. Awaken is a unit that you can craft. Hopefully they add more craftable units in the future. That would help out a lot of players, especially free to play. And what craftable units are basically units that you can use your elites and even epics to basically craft into another epic or a legendary. So you can craft epics and legendaries using elites and epics themselves. But anyways, back to the true damage team. So we have Awaken as one of our options. We have our boy Ricard. Now, these are two epics. Awaken, of course, is craftable, so he's super free to play. You're going to be able to get him, you know, after you've done probably, I'd say, a considerable amount of summons. Probably give it a week or two, and you should be able to have at least one copy of Awaken if we're playing it safe. Ricard is going to be a unit that you're going to have to unfortunately pull, though, if you want to use him, but he's not crucial. He does not need to be pulled to still make this team. He's just a really nice piece to have in this team because he does true damage and he scales the HP. So he's going to be very easy to gear up, and he's going to be very, very strong from beginning all the way to end game type content. Another portion of that team here, and another super, super free-to-play option, is our boy Charles. He is an elite, and he's going to be super easy to skill up. It's going to be easy to get dupes for and max out and get the 6-star and all that other good stuff. He scales to defense, so he's also going to be very easy to build up. Not to mention, defense is one of the fortes of our boy Awaken, and so those are going to be a very good combo right there. And another option here is our resident super ninja turtle himself, Rogue, who's another elite as well that you can build up for your accounts early on. And he is also an elite, as I said. Alongside our boy Charles, you have two super duper free to play options that you don't have to rely on Lady Luck or RNG to pull, because since they're elites, you're going to get them a lot. And the way pulls work in this game is if we go down here to summons, now this is what's really, really nice, is not only can you get those units from advanced summons, you can also get them from the normal summons, which these crystals can be farmed up from almost all areas of the game that require stamina. So if you're going to go in and do, let's say, gear dungeons, skill up dungeons, or even story, you can farm up those crystals. Those crystals are right here. They're called Summoning Crystal. You can see I have 193 of them. You'll see a lot of people that have, you know, some people even have multiple thousands of these, depending on how hard you go with your stamina and how many of them you save up. You can also use those later on to actually exchange for free summons, the advanced crystals, which you can see in this banner, but we'll talk about that in other videos. Go down to summon details, you can see here, just to kind of go into our whole point of how this is not going to be a hero collector for free-to-plays and casuals. The actual summoning chance for a legendary hero is 1%. So it's not very likely that you're going to pull a ton of legendaries. You're only going to get a few here and there. Some people might get better luck than others. Obviously, a lot of times you're going to have to hit the pity to get them. And the way the pity works is you have to basically go 70 summons, and then your pity starts. And then after you get to 90, it goes up by 1% instead of 0.5%, to where you finally get to the point where it says 1% plus 20. And on your 101st pull, that'll finally be your guaranteed legendary. So as I said, you're not going to be really doing a lot of hero collecting in this game if you are a free-to-player casual spender. That's just the nature of the beast, as it is with a lot of gacha games. But that does not mean you cannot make strong and powerful teams that can carry on to mid to end game content. As we've already mentioned, the true damage team is one of those super free-to-play options. Back to actual being able to hero synthesize here, or crafting. As I said, you can craft legendaries and you can craft epic heroes. And two of the better epics that a lot of people like to craft right off the bat is Santis for the poison teams to help you get to late game content pretty quickly so you can farm up gear dungeons to get access to 5 and 6 star gear, as well as Hakron, who can work very well with the true damage team. He's good in a tank team. He's going to be in the late game PvP teams, late game gear dungeon teams, and of course our true dungeon team. I'm sorry, a true damage team that we've already mentioned that was super free to play friendly from the get-go, by using these elite heroes as fodder to craft. And then of course you can use those fodder epics to craft the legendaries. But I don't recommend doing this as a free to play, because you're basically throwing away almost a 6-star hero just to get one of these legendaries. And as I said, it's just not feasible. It's not sustainable long term. You want to be very efficient with your resources, so keep that all in mind. All right, so with all that said, that should get you a pretty good start. Moving forward into the game, you're going to have a strong team. Make sure you do your dailies. Make sure that you pick and choose what events are best for you. Like I said, not all events are going to be very beneficial. So you want to kind of weigh the pros and the cons of each event, because those events usually cost resources, they cost stamina or whatever, and sometimes they make you even have to slow down your progress on purpose to kind of wait for them to roll around so you can start to do them. So again, pick and choose your events, do dailies, build your core teams, try to keep them as small as possible. Don't try to build 10 characters. Don't try to build 15 characters early on. Try to stick to a core team and then slowly expand it by one at a time as you can, because one big thing that a lot of people don't understand early on is the glyphs are very, very powerful. If we go to a unit like Zatlix, for example, and we go to his glyphs, you can see he's getting 742 attack, over 3,500 HP, 445 defense, 22 speed, 10% crit rate, 14% crit damage, and 14.5% resistance alone just for him from doing his max glyphs. And max glyphs do take quite a bit of stamina. Another thing that I want to talk about with stamina real quick that a lot of people do make the mistake on before we get out of here. Again, we're not going to cover all the mistakes. I just wanted to kind of cover some of the, early game misconceptions, some of the misinformation, and maybe even some of the more common mistakes that people just make, on accident or on purpose, depending on the situation. Another big mistake is people like to use multi-battle. And I know why people like to use multi-battle. They want to use multi-battle so they can basically go do other things while the game is farming for them. And this is the multi-battle feature right here. I'm in Mythic right now, so if I want to do 20, it's going to cost, if I want to do a 10 run, which is the max you can do right now, hopefully they expand that in the future, it's going to cost me on Mythic difficulty of story 120 stamina. Now, if you don't exactly have that much stamina, it can use your meal tickets or diamonds to purchase your meal tickets for you to get to that 120 so you can do your full 10 run in case you don't have enough already. You can also return to multi-battle after defeats, find the arcane dungeon to continue. But the return to multi-battle after defeats does not really help you at all in this case, because here's the thing. If you go into a stage and just do a normal battle and you lose, it takes usually about 1 stamina. It takes 1 stamina, not the whole thing, if you lose or if you need to back out. However, if you go back in and you go into here and you go into multi-battle, and let's say you only want to do 1, if you lose, it takes all of the energy. So instead of losing 1 energy for a failed run, you're going to lose all 12. So it's very, very vital that if you are using multi-battle, you're doing it on a place that you know that you're going to have pretty close to a 100% success rate on. That way you're not losing stamina, because stamina is not going to be easy to come by after the honeymoon phase in this game. There are new implications that they've created, like there is the new arena packs that are free that you can farm up from story and stuff like that, that you can use in arena, which you can go in here and then you can do more arena tries, and arena does give you stamina, which is very, very helpful. So that's definitely another thing that you want to make sure you're doing. Do your daily arenas as much as you can. So, I mean, that's pretty much it, ladies and gentlemen. Just make sure that you're cautious with resources. That's the most vital bit of advice I can give you. Just be very, very careful with resources. You don't want to invest into units that you know you're not going to use long term. If you have any questions or concern over various units in the game, feel free to ask me in the comment section below. Feel free to ask me in the Discord. Ask any other content creator that you're following. I'm sure a lot of them have been playing for a while and they can help you out. And hopefully with all this information, all the videos, we can get you guys and gals off to a great start. And hopefully you can play long term without too many hiccups which I just had, or any kind of miscues or mistakes, occurring too often, because that's really what we want to avoid here. We just want to be able to play the game, enjoy it, build up units, and make amazing teams, and go as far as we can as not only a free-to-play and casual, but just as a player. That's all we really want at the end of the day. So hopefully this video was helpful. If you have any other, concerns or questions, let me know again in the comment section below. Don't forget to like the video today if it was helpful. There's a lot more information that we can go into, deep dive into some other things, some other areas and aspects of the game. But that's the majority of things that a lot of people need to worry about when they first get started. Just be patient. Don't be trying to go and grind and rush to end game, because it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take some time. It's going to take some thought. You're going to have to put a little bit of work into your teams, but you will get there at some point. So just keep that all in mind. Again, catch you all in the next one. Don't forget to subscribe, check notifications. Join me in the Discord in the description below, and I'll catch you guys all later. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter at XSPlays. Until then, peace.